Guys, it's Mike from Better Me, and it's really good to be back with you guys today because today I want to talk about 3 things that I would talk to my kids about if I was teaching them about money for the very first time. And so the first one is, what is money? And so when we talk about what is money, I think there's another question to ask our kids. And that question is, what do you want to become? What do you want out of life? Who do you want to serve? And talk to them about community and how to serve in your community, because really what money is it's a means to an end. It's a means to a goal. In order to do most of the things that we want to do in life, in order to be better, in order to serve more, in order to impact more people's lives, more people's families, leave legacies, things like that, we need money. Money is a tool. Money is nothing more than a tool to a means, to an end, to something that you want to accomplish, to some person that you want to serve, some family that you want to serve, some community that you want to serve. In order to do that, we need money to make it happen. Money is the mover. Money is the catalyst. And that's how I would explain what money is. I wouldn't really go into things like, well, money used to be backed by gold and now it's not backed by gold and the government prints all this money, and because they print all this money, there's all kinds of inflation. That's okay to teach. I think that's something we teach down the line. But for right now, we say, hey guys, what is it that you want to accomplish in your life? How is it that you want to impact later in life? Actually now, how do you want to impact now? But also, how do you want to impact later? Well, in order to do that, you're going to need some kind of catalyst. You're going to need some kind of fuel. You're going to need some kind of gasoline on the fire to be able to go ahead and serve and impact. In order to do that, money is usually that fuel that leads to the greater impact. And then you get down to these 2 other pieces of it. And the second one is liabilities versus assets. It's so important that when we talk to our kids about money, they know what the difference is between an asset and between a liability. And we don't have to get into this whole thing about balance sheets and income statements and what happens when you move this over here and what's an expense and what does this do. We don't have to talk about all of that. But what it's really important to just note for kids when we start out talking to them is, an asset is something that puts money into your pocket, and a liability is something that takes money out of your pocket. And it's really good to have more assets than liabilities, because if you have liabilities, that means that gets into how you want to impact in your life. If you're tied down by credit card debt, if your things start owning you, you're going to have less to go around to actually impact. I remember for me, it's been really easy for me for pretty much most of my life. Even when I was small, I would have different kind of odd jobs. When I was 7 or 8 years old, I would go around the neighborhood, I would have paper routes, I would take out trash for people, and it was always easy for me to be able to make money. But even through my teens, upwards into my 20s, it was very difficult. In all the money that I made, it was still very difficult for me to keep the money that I made, because I wanted all these things. And eventually what happened was, the things that I had started owning me. And so my credit started to increase, which means my debt started to increase, because I knew that if I wanted something, I could get it right away because I had credit. So it's really important to teach our kids about liabilities and really the responsibility that we have when we're dealing with credit, when we're dealing with buying things, and what that does and what that could potentially do in the future. If we start to buy too many things, our things could start actually owning us. Whereas if we have more assets that are actually working for us and making an income for us, that allows us to impact greater in our lives. The third one is earned versus a passive income. So there are arguments for and against earned versus passive income. It really depends on the type of person that you are and what you believe, what your value systems are, and what you want to teach your kids. For me, in my home, we teach capitalism, we teach entrepreneurship. And so when we talk about an earned income versus a passive income, an earned income is something that you would make, say, at a job. You're going to work 40 hours a week, you're going to make $5 an hour, and ultimately for that, you're going to take home a paycheck either once a week, once every 2 weeks, or once every month. Those are usually the pay frequencies that you would get paid. And so we call that an earned income because you're actively doing work for that income. Now, if you were to have a passive strategy, that means something like investing in stocks, investing in bonds, investing in real estate, investing in crypto, having a life insurance policy that also produces income for you as well. That is all stuff that you can do on a passive basis. So as you make these investments, they should ultimately at some point, depending on what you invest in, make money for you while you're sleeping. So you're not actually actively doing work to make money with these particular investments. Now, this also includes owning a business. So what do? In my home, we talk about the importance of building businesses. We talk about the importance of owning businesses, because when we build businesses, we learn, right? So they're not always going to be all successful, but we're going to learn, we're going to fall down, we're going to get back up again, and we're going to learn how to do it better. And then once we do it better, we're going to learn how we can impact more in our societies, impact more in our communities. We have more to give, we have more to teach, we have more to educate based on what we learn. And it's just a really amazing symbiotic relationship between community and between what we're trying to build with our business. So it's really, really, truly amazing. So if I had 3 things that I would choose to teach kids today about money, those first 3 things would be, what is money? But more important than that, what do you want your mission to be? Even right now, I'm 10 or 12 years old. Like, what is it? How do you want to impact in today's society? How do you want to impact in the world? What is it? And we know that's going to change, but it helps them to kind of start thinking about how they really want to be an impactful person or an impactful member of society. And then the second thing is liabilities versus assets. We want them to know that assets is something that goes into their pockets and potentially will make them money. Liabilities is something that comes out of your pocket and is going to take money out of your pocket, right? So liabilities is something that goes out, assets is something that comes in. And then the last thing is earned versus passive income. And that's when we can get into the importance of building a business, capitalism, entrepreneurship, right? Earned income isn't a bad thing either, right? You're working hard for your money, you're getting a wage, you're taking a paycheck in the other week, and that's fine. But then we want to get into, okay, once you have that paycheck, because it's not more of a passive income stream, how do we manage that money that we're making every single week so that we're not turning it into more of a liability structure where we are buying more things, we are having more bills, we're creating more debt versus having more assets and more income. So those are the things that we would get into ultimately, but at the first level, at the very high level, the very top level, the first things that I would teach kids, the very first 3 things fundamentally would be these 3 things. So guys, if you have any questions, definitely send me an email at info@5pillarfinancial.com. That's info@5pillarfinancial.com. Please leave a comment below. If you have any comments, I will get back to you. Like my page, please, and definitely subscribe. And until then, I'll see you in the next video.